Imagine you're a worship leader for a church. Several months ago, you made some changes to the PowerPoint font size and the slides that are used for worship on Sunday mornings. Your changes were based on feedback from members of the church, but you didn't explain all that to the other worship team members. One day, you hear that a team member has been complaining to others that the font is too big. What's your first instinct? Defensive annoyance? It's mine. I'm the leader. I did my research. Hi, I'm Dr. Jolene Kinser, and I'm glad you're here. We're continuing in Chapter 6 of Changing Normal. We're looking at how to initiate a conversation that gets beneath the fluff of a complaint to find the substance below, the real issue. As the worship leader, how would you respond? Instead of declaring to your worship team that, the font size is staying how it is and that's that, we can choose a different path. One that seeks to understand the interests behind the complaint. So let's put ourselves in this scenario, okay? After praying, you decide to talk privately with the team member to learn what she's thinking. You find a quiet, non-chaotic time and ask it in an inviting and friendly tone. Joe, can we talk? I'm grateful for your contribution to the worship team. You have a beautiful voice. I heard recently that you think our PowerPoint font size is too big. Can you help me understand why having a smaller font size is important to you? And then, this is the hard part. You just listen. You refrain from interrupting and listen carefully to what she has to say, maybe even taking notes. To clarify, you repeat back what you heard. I heard you say that you're looking out for the AV volunteer who struggles to keep up with forwarding the slides. Did I understand correctly? As you ask more questions, you might discover something surprising. Joe explains that since she has bad eyesight, she doesn't even look at the PowerPoint, actually. She uses a printout. The size of the font doesn't actually impact her personally. She says, I'm concerned about the congregation. They get confused and they can't follow the songs, which reflects poorly on us. Wow, there's so much wrapped up in that sentence. By asking these open-ended questions, you discover that the font size was not the main issue. The real issue was the need to forward the slides in a timelier manner so the congregation could follow along. Perhaps there's also a spiritual growth issue related to insecurity or pride or fear that, needs to be prayed through and then gently addressed at another time. So after you listen and ask good questions to get to the root of the problem, you now transition to addressing the real issue. Starting with acknowledgement. You first acknowledge her interest and her concern, saying something like, thank you for so thoughtfully caring about the congregation. Then you share your perspective. You share your thinking behind your decision. You share that the older church members needed the larger font to be able to sing along. Then you propose a solution that addresses the actual concern, such as practicing. The worship team can practice more with the AV team. Does having a conversation like this seem doable to you? If not, pray for God to show you another way to meet the same objective. Instead of guessing or assuming, which is what we do so often, find a way to gain clarity and understanding directly from that person, if possible, regarding their interests and the motivations behind their complaint. Too often, our response is to complain to others about the person who's complaining, instead of seeking to understand and to look out for their interests. Now, even though, biblically speaking, she should have spoken directly with you, and her current action of complaining to others is hurtful, you can choose to do the God-honoring thing and proactively have a conversation to discover and clarify what's going on and to seek a solution. Is there a font size complainer in your life right now? Before you start complaining to someone else about that person, consider having a proactive, seeking to understand conversation directly with the complainer. You might just find some relational gold. In our final video for Chapter 6, I'll share a personal life in China story that I hope will encourage you to keep making the effort to look out for interests. I'll see you then.